She stood frozen in the middle of the school bathroom, a crumpled tissue pressed to her nose, eyes swollen with tears. Her green tank top clung to her trembling body as the fluorescent lights buzzed above her. But what stung more than the sting in her nostrils was the laughter coming from the mirror, because behind her reflection, two girls weren't just laughing, they were recording, filming her, mocking her. The bathroom door was shut, but the digital world was wide open, and by tomorrow morning her humiliation would belong to the entire school. And on the wall behind them, almost as a cruel joke, a poster read, "Glow Up Challenge Today." But for Maya, this wasn't a challenge. It was a war she never asked to fight. What if the very thing they made fun of turned out to be the reason they'd all regret it? What if the videos they laughed at led to a revelation so powerful it shook the school to its core? And what if the mysterious woman watching from a black car in the school parking lot wasn't just some stranger, but the missing piece to a story no one ever saw coming? This wasn't Maya's first time being humiliated in a bathroom, but it would be the last, because something was about to change, and it started long before this day, with years of silent suffering, with whispers behind her back, with locker room jokes that left scars deeper than anyone knew. But what her classmates didn't realize was every insult, every prank, every cruel nickname. They were pushing Maya closer to a truth even she didn't know about herself. Why did the school board call an emergency meeting after her final soccer game? Why were news cameras suddenly showing up outside the gym? And why, after a lifetime of hiding, did Maya finally walk into school with her head held high, her arms uncovered, and her past no longer a source of shame, but power? This is the story of a girl they called Hairy Cow, Beast, and Chewbacca. The girl they tried to erase from every photo and memory. But it's also the story of a victory so loud that it silenced the bullies for good. Over the next few minutes, you'll watch a journey unfold, one built on pain, resilience, and a discovery that will flip everything you thought you knew upside down. By the end of this video, you'll see that the worst day of her life led to the most unexpected twist of all. She wasn't just a bullied girl with body hair. She was someone else entirely. Someone with a story they couldn't bury. Someone with a legacy that couldn't be denied. And when the truth came out, it didn't just change her life. It changed the entire school forever. But what started with a mirror, a phone, and two laughing girls would spark a chain of events that no one could have predicted. Let's go back to the beginning, the moment her world started to break. They say a mirror reflects who you are, but for Maya it only showed what they wanted to see. It was a cold, fluorescent-lit bathroom, the kind that echoed your footsteps and never offered warmth, even on the hottest day of the year. Maya stood silently by the sink, her trembling, hand pressing a tissue under her nose. Her eyes were red, her arms crossed tightly over her chest. She didn't speak. She didn't cry loudly. She just tried not to exist, but the silence wasn't hers to keep. Behind her in the reflection stood two girls, laughing, recording, mocking. "Smile for the glow-up challenge," one of them cackled, holding up her phone like a trophy. Hashtag beast mode activated. They erupted into cruel giggles. You see, for them, this wasn't just bullying. It was content. Maya's oversized green tank top clung to her body. Her arms, covered in thick hair, were now the subject of an online spectacle, one she never agreed to be a part of. Look at her. It's like someone shaved a gorilla and forgot to finish. the other whispered, not even trying to hide it. In the mirror, Maya could see them, clear as day. But the reflection looking back at her, that wasn't her anymore. That was someone broken. She turned her back to the mirror, but the camera didn't stop. Within minutes, the video was uploaded. Within hours, it had over 400,000 views. By lunch, the entire school was whispering behind their screens. Hairy Girl Challenge trended. Maya. The mammoth spread like wildfire. But no one asked if Maya was okay. And here's the cruelest part. That bathroom wasn't new to Maya. She had stood in front of that exact mirror before, a year ago, crying. For a different reason. That time it was blood on her pants, her first period. A late bloomer caught off guard, same mirror. Different stain, same girl. More shame. And just like that, Maya learned, this school doesn't forgive, and it never forgets. As she locked herself inside the stall, trying to steady her breathing, the echoes of their laughter bounced off the walls like knives. She looked down at her arms, then up at the ceiling, as if it held answers. But it didn't. She whispered to herself, I just want to disappear. But little did Maya know. The same video meant to destroy her. It would become the very reason her entire life would change. Because what the bullies didn't realize was that they weren't just recording a joke. They were recording a clue that would reach someone. Someone Maya had never met, but whose blood ran through her veins. And from across town, in a quiet office, a woman in a black suit paused the video at the exact frame where Maya stared into the mirror and whispered, I found her. But even before, that bathroom Maya had been hiding. She just didn't know the world was about to make it impossible to stay invisible. Before the bathroom breakdown, before the viral video, Maya's story had already started unraveling. Not on social media, not even in whispers, but under her own skin. It began quietly in the fourth period science class, while the other girls were giggling about first crushes and TikTok dances. Maya was staring at her arms. The hair was darker now, thicker, spreading. At first, she thought it was normal. After all, everyone went through changes during puberty. That's what they said in health class, right? But by the time 7th grade hit, Maya wasn't just different. She was noticed. Whoa! A boy gasped one day while at the gym. Do you condition your arm hair? It's shinier than my mom's dog. And that was just the start. The nicknames came fast, one after the other. Chewbacca, Hairy Cow, Beast Mode, Gorilla Girl. Even the substitutes joined in, unknowingly. Oh, one had said while calling roll. Maya Sweet. That's a name that doesn't match. The image, huh? The whole class had laughed. And Maya? She just sank lower in her chair, but the worst was yet to come. It was during a health class unit on puberty. The teacher, well-meaning but clueless, stood at the front of the class holding up a diagram. So during adolescence, it's completely normal for hair to grow in new places. The class groaned. A few boys snickered, and then a voice cut through the tension, sharp and smug. Maya already hit level 100 on that game. Laughter. Someone muttered, she's living proof of evolution. More laughter. And Maya? She didn't laugh. She didn't speak. She just stared straight ahead, willing herself to disappear. That night she made a decision. If her body wouldn't stop, then maybe she could do something about it. She sneaked into the bathroom while her mom was asleep. With shaking hands, she picked up a razor she'd found in the cabinet. No instruction, no guidance, just desperation. The first swipe left a red line, the second, a sting. By the third, her arm was covered in tiny cuts. The next morning, itchy red bumps appeared. She wore a sweatshirt in 90-degree weather, but the girls still noticed. "Oh my God, did you finally try to shave?" Whitney scoffed in the hallway. "Or did a raccoon attack you in your sleep?" Another girl leaned in, fake whispering, "Careful, she might shed on you." It wasn't just jokes anymore. It was a campaign. Maya started skipping gym class. She changed clothes in bathroom stalls, avoiding the locker room. She even ate lunch behind the science building, where no one would see her arms, her face, her eyes, and yet, no matter how many layers she wore, no matter how fast she ran from the comments, the hair kept growing, the shame kept spreading. But what Maya didn't know yet, what she couldn't know, was that just biology? It was a legacy. And the thing she hated most, it was the very thing that connected her to a hidden past waiting to be revealed. And when you spend your life hiding from mirrors and classmates, sometimes you start hiding from yourself, which is exactly what Maya did next. Oh, until one knock changed everything. They say the loudest pain is silence. And for Maya, silence became her only language. She stopped showing up to school. Her once perfect attendance slipped into a string of absences marked unexcused. She ignored her soccer coach's calls, deleted group chats, and even blocked her best friend after they sent a worried message. "Where are you?" Because Maya wasn't just avoiding people anymore. She was trying to erase herself completely. The girl who once raced down the soccer field with lightning speed now stayed buried beneath blankets all day. No cleats, no ball, no laughter, only shadows. And every time her mom knocked on the bedroom door, Maya would whisper just loud enough to be heard, "I'm tired." But what she really meant was, "I'm broken." One rainy afternoon, as thunder grumbled outside, Maya sat curled in the corner of her bed. Hoodie up, curtains drawn, world shut out. That's when her mother walked in, gently placing a bowl of warm soup on the desk. She didn't speak right away. She just sat beside her daughter and waited. Eventually, Maya broke the silence. "Why does it have to be me?" she whispered. "Why do I have to be the one who's weird?" Her mom sighed softly, brushing a lock of hair from Maya's face. "You know," she said, "when I was your age, the kids on my block used to call me Wolf Girl." Maya looked up, eyes wide. "Seriously?" "Seriously. I had more hair on my arms than most of the boys. I used to hide it, shave it, and cry about it. And I thought I'd never be loved, never be normal." She took Maya's hand gently. "But you know what changed?" "What?" "Me. I stopped trying to be like everyone else, because I realized our family has always been different, but we've also always been strong." Maya didn't reply, not right away, but the words sank in, like slow rain soaking dry earth. Still, she wasn't ready to believe it yet. Not after everything, because when all you've ever heard is that you're too much, too hairy, too loud, too different, it's hard to imagine that you could ever be enough. That night, Maya dug through old photo albums. She saw her mom as a teenager, standing proudly on a stage during a poetry slam, her arms visible, hair unshaved, and smiling, a real, unapologetic smile. For a moment, Maya imagined what it would feel like to do the same, to not hide, to be seen, and not be afraid of it, but the mirror still felt like an enemy. and her scars, both the ones on her arms and the ones behind her eyes, weren't healed yet. Not even close. But healing isn't always gentle. Sometimes it begins with breaking. All over again. And Maya's next heartbreak would happen in the very place she feared most. The shave and shame incident. Sometimes it only takes a few seconds to destroy what took years to rebuild. And for Maya, those seconds came in the girls' locker room, where tile floors echoed cruelty, and the smell of sweat mixed with shame. She had only come to grab her forgotten hoodie. She wasn't even dressed for gym that day. She just wanted to sneak in and out before anyone noticed. But someone did. Whitney, and Whitney didn't come alone. Two of her friends flanked the entrance like guards. The moment Maya stepped inside, the air turned electric, thick with tension. "Oh, look," Whitney sneered. "Our little hairy friend is back from hibernation." Maya froze. Her heart pounded against her ribs like a warning drum. She tried to walk past, head down, eyes forward, but Whitney stepped in front of her, holding something in her hand. "A pair of tweezers." "Don't worry," she grinned. "I'm just trying to help you. You're not going to get a boyfriend looking like that. Let me fix those caterpillars above your eyes." Before Maya could react, Whitney lunged, grabbing her by the wrist and forcing her down onto the bench. The other girls laughed, one filming, the other pretending to cheer like a makeover show host. "Hold still. This is a free beauty treatment," Maya screamed. "Stop! Let me go!" She twisted and yanked, but Whitney had already pinned her arm. The gym teacher finally burst in, late, distracted, yelling for everyone to settle down. But the damage was done. Maya's skin was red. Her eyes were soaked, and her pride torn to pieces. But the real hit came later. That video, the one filmed in secret, shaky and cruel, hit social media like wildfire. Glow down challenge, beast brow, Maya makeover people. Didn't even ask if it was staged. They just shared it, laughed at it, reacted to it with flame emojis and crying laugh faces. Even kids from other schools commented, "What zoo let her out? Plot twist, she's part werewolf. This is why razors exist, y'all." And Maya? She didn't say a word, not to her mom, not to her teachers, not to anyone. She crawled under her bed that night, hoodie still on, headphones in, and whispered to the dark, "I'll never go back." And she meant it, because it wasn't just about hair anymore. It was about humiliation, about trust being broken in front of the entire school and the entire internet. She felt powerless, trapped inside a body she didn't ask for, surrounded by people who only saw her as content. But what Maya couldn't see from under that blanket, was it that someone had seen the video? Someone important, and this time they weren't laughing. They thought she'd stay under that bed forever. But what they didn't realize was that even in darkness, something powerful was forming. A comeback was brewing, one that no one would see coming. The comeback nobody saw, coming rock bottom, doesn't always echo. Sometimes it's quiet. It's so quiet, and you almost forget there's a way back up. For Maya, that silence stretched for weeks. Her phone remained off. Her soccer cleats gathered dust. Her heart still beating, but slowly. Until one afternoon, a knock came at the door. Not her mom, not a teacher, but someone she didn't expect. Hey, it was Layla, a quiet girl with wild curls and soft eyes. The same girl who once had an accident during lunch and got mocked for months because of it. Maya remembered. She had seen it happen and done nothing. Now here Layla was, standing at her front door with a worn-out soccer flyer and a hopeful smile. "Tryouts are next week. You should come." Maya blinked, confused. "I haven't played in months." "I know," Layla said. "But that doesn't mean you forgot how to fight." It wasn't the pep talk that convinced her. It was the look, the kind Maya had seen in her own mirror. Pain masked by calm. Layla knew how it felt to be targeted, and how it felt to keep showing up anyway. That night, Maya unzipped her gym bag for the first time in weeks. The first day back on the field felt like walking into fire. Whispers. Stares. Someone muttered, "Chewbacca's back," behind their hand. But Maya didn't flinch. She laced up her cleats, pulled her sleeves up, let the sun hit her arms, bumps, scars, hair and all. Coach Ramirez watched from the sideline, clipboard in hand. Eyes narrowed, jaw locked. "You serious about this?" he asked. "Yes, sir," she replied, standing taller than she felt. "Then show me." What followed was sweat, effort, hours of drills, sore calves, bruised shins, but something else too. Freedom. For the first time in a long time, Maya wasn't thinking about stairs, or laughter, or razors. She was thinking about the ball, the grass, and the fire building in her legs. A montage of late evenings, headphones in, field lights on. Wind in her face, confidence returning, not as a whisper, but a roar. And then came game day. Her name wasn't called until the second half. The team was tied. The crowd is restless. Coach glanced her way. "You ready?" Maya nodded. As she stepped onto the field, the air felt different. Heavier, but familiar. She took her position, blocking out the noise. And then, it happened. A breakaway. She sprinted, faster than she ever had. One pass, two defenders. A shot, the ball sliced through the air, clean, perfect, and slammed into the back of the net. Goal. The crowd exploded. Teammates ran toward her cheering, but Maya's eyes caught something else. Beyond the fence, across the lot, a black SUV. Windows tinted. Inside, a figure holding a phone. Not a student, not a parent, someone older, dressed in black, watching only her. Recording her again. But this time, it wasn't cruel, it was intentional, like they'd been waiting for her to appear. Maya squinted, but the vehicle pulled away before she could see more. She stood frozen even as her teammates hugged her, because something about that moment didn't feel like a coincidence. Later, that night as she walked home alone under dim streetlights, Maya couldn't stop thinking about that figure. Why was I being filmed again? But this time, by someone who wasn't laughing. She didn't know it yet. But that shadowy stranger had answers. Answers Maya had been searching for her whole life. And while Maya focused on her next game, her story was already spreading. Not just on social media, but in circles far beyond her school. Because someone out there had been looking for her, and now they'd found her. Hair today, victory tomorrow. There's a moment, after enough hurt, enough tears, when a person stops trying to shrink and starts taking up space. For Maya, that moment didn't come with confetti. It didn't arrive in a perfectly edited TikTok transformation. It came quietly, in the girls' bathroom. The very same one where she'd once been humiliated. She stood, in front of the mirror again, hoodie off, arms exposed, face bare. Her reflection wasn't perfect, but it was real. And this time, she didn't look away. The next morning, Maya walked into school wearing a sleeveless jersey. Her arms are still hairy, her head still held high. Whispers followed her, sure, but not as loud as before. There was something in her posture that made people hesitate. Confidence, not the kind you're handed, the kind you earn. But the universe wasn't done testing her. Bright pink poster had been taped across every hallway. Glow Up Challenge, a week-long school spirit event celebrating beauty, style, and transformation. One winner will be crowned and featured in the yearbook. Underneath, in sparkly cursive, show the school how far you've come. By lunch, the hallways turned into makeshift fashion runways, girls with curled hair, glitter lips, manicures. Boys are showing off fresh fades and designer belts. And then came the snickering. "Hey, Maya," Whitney called across the cafeteria. "When's your glow-up scheduled? Or is this it?" "Maybe she's going for cave woman chic," another girl laughed. "Don't judge," someone else added. "She's brave for going to school looking like that." And just like that, the game had changed. The glow-up challenge wasn't about beauty. It was about power. And Maya? She had no plans to play by their rules. She walked past them with zero hesitation. Didn't flinch. Didn't engage. She wasn't glowing up to win approval. She was glowing up to survive. And her version of a glow-up, she was keeping every inch of who she was. By Thursday, something strange started happening. Classmates who once stared at her in pity now stared in awe. One girl with acne leaned over during art class. "Hey, Maya, how do you walk around like that and not care what they say?" Maya paused. "I do care," she said. "But I care about myself more." It was like wildfire. More girls started showing up without makeup. One ditched her wig, another skipped the fake lashes. It wasn't a movement. Not yet, but it was a change. And then the email came. Subject line, "Congratulations, Maya Sweet." She opened it slowly, expecting a prank. But it wasn't. "Dear Maya, you've been selected by the National Girls in Athletics Committee for the Rising Strength Award, recognizing courage, perseverance, and leadership in the face of adversity. A representative will be visiting your school this month to present the award. We are honored to recognize your story." Maya stared at the screen in disbelief. Somehow, someone had nominated her, and that meant someone, somewhere, had seen her. Not the jokes, not the hair, but the heart. She didn't know who had submitted her name, but in the back of her mind, a flash of black-tinted glass. A phone raised in silence. The woman in the SUV. She hadn't just been watching. She had been following. And this was only the beginning. While Maya prepared for the biggest game of the season, she had no idea that the woman watching from the shadows was about to step into the light. And with her, a truth that would shake everything Maya thought she knew. The game that changed. Everything. Some games are played for trophies. Others are played for pride. But this one, this game would change Maya's life forever. The sun beat down over the stadium. Bleachers packed, air electric. Students with painted faces waved homemade posters. Parents, teachers, and reporters filled the sidelines. The state championship. One shot. One team. One moment. And in the center of it all stood Maya Sweet. She tugged on her jersey, still sleeveless, exposing her arms without apology. Her body wasn't a secret anymore. She wasn't hiding from anyone, but she wasn't just playing for her school. She was playing for every girl who had ever been laughed at, and kept going anyway. The whistle blew. The game began. Maya moved like lightning. Aggressive, focused, her cleats sliced through the grass like they belonged there. Her teammates passed her the ball again and again. She was no longer the hairy girl. She was the heartbeat of the team. Then came the foul. A defender from the rival team slammed into her from behind. Maya collapsed, clutching her leg. The stadium gasped. Silence. The referee raised a yellow card. Coaches ran onto the field. Maya tried to stand, but faltered. "I'm fine," she muttered through clenched teeth. "I'm fine." They offered to pull her out. She refused. She limped back into position, eyes locked, breath steady, because Maya didn't come this far just to stop now. Final minutes, tied score. Crowd on edge. Maya caught the pass, one-on-one with the goalie. She dug her heel in, twisted hard, and launched. The ball soared, fast, unstoppable, and slammed into the net with a satisfying thud. Goal! The crowd went wild. Students screamed her name. "Maya! Maya! Maya!" Teammates lifted her in the air. Her coach shouted in disbelief. Cameras flashed. The bleachers trembled. But behind all the noise, one person didn't cheer. Parked across the street, barely visible beyond the chain-link fence, sat the same black SUV, engine running. Window cracked. Inside, the mysterious woman watched Maya carefully. Her hand hovered over her phone. Then, she dialed. Inside the school office, the principal's phone rang. He picked up, half listening at first, until he heard the voice. Then his expression changed completely. He stood up, urgently grabbed his keys, and rushed out the back entrance of the school. No one knew why. Not yet. Back on the field, Maya was still catching her breath. Her leg ached, her lungs burned, but she was smiling. She looked up at the crowd, strangers and friends alike, and felt something unfamiliar in her chest, belonging, and then the edges of her vision blurred. The sounds became muffled. Her body swayed. The last thing she saw before falling to the grass was that SUV. The door had opened. A pair of high heels stepped out. And then darkness, gasps, screams. Coaches ran. The crowd froze. Paramedics stormed the field. Someone yelled, "She fainted!" The game, the cheers, the victory, all turned to static. And amidst the chaos, the woman from the SUV pushed past security. "I'm here for her," she said calmly, flashing a badge. "She doesn't know me yet, but I know everything about her." Hours later, Maya lay in a hospital bed, an oxygen mask over her mouth, an IV in her arm. Her mom sat beside her, squeezing her hand. The doctors said it was just exhaustion and heat stroke, but the woman, the one from the SUV, stood quietly in the hallway, talking to the principal. "Are you sure?" he asked. She nodded. "There's no doubt. We ran the DNA twice. She's the missing niece, the last direct heir to the largest all-women's athletic foundation in the country. And you're her aunt," the woman said. "And if I have anything to say about it, no one will ever laugh at her again." Maya had just won the biggest game of her life. But she didn't know. Her real story was only beginning. Because her greatest victory wasn't on the field. It was in her blood. The DNA files hospital rooms have a way of making even the strongest people feel small. Sterile lights, beeping monitors, a thin curtain between you and the world. Maya laid still, her leg wrapped in gauze, a dull ache pulsing behind her eyes. The Championship game felt like a blur, a fever dream of cheers and shadows. But it wasn't the crowd or the goal that stayed with her. It was the woman in the SUV and the question no one seemed to be answering. Who was she? Outside her room, voices rose, her mother, and someone else. "You can't just show up like this," her mom hissed. "She doesn't know anything yet." "Because you never told her," the other woman snapped. "She had a right to know who she is." There was a long pause. Then, "She's not ready." Maya sat up slowly, heart pounding. Every word felt like a key, unlocking a part of her past she hadn't realized was locked. She pulled her blanket tighter. Who is she? What are they hiding? A soft knock on the door. It wasn't her mom who entered first. It was the woman in black, the same one who watched her from the SUV. Up close now, she was tall, sharp, and composed. Her eyes scanned Maya's face with a familiarity that made her chest tighten. "Hi, Maya," she said gently. "I'm Vanessa, your aunt." The word hit like a thunderclap. "My what?" Her mom stepped in behind her, voice quiet now, eyes glassy. "It's time you knew the truth." And just like that, Maya's world, already spinning, tilted completely. She learned that her biological mother, Serena Sweet, was Vanessa's sister, an elite athlete, national champion, and founder of one of the largest women's athletic apparel brands in the world, Sweet Form. She had been fierce, talented, and rebellious. And before Maya was even born, Serena had made the decision to give her child up in secret, to protect her from a media scandal brewing inside the empire. "But we never stopped looking," Vanessa explained. "We hired investigators and ran nationwide DNA matching. We had one old photograph, Serena holding a newborn wrapped in a green blanket. She pulled it out from a folder. Maya stared at the photo. Faye, same green blanket her mom had kept in a shoebox under the bed. We didn't know where you were until the video." "The video?" Maya asked, stunned. "The one they posted to mock you. I saw your face, the hair, the look in your eyes. It was like seeing Serena again. We ran your DNA twice." Maya could barely breathe. Everything she thought she knew about herself, her hair, her differences, her pain, suddenly had a name. Legacy. "You weren't cursed, Maya," Vanessa said, stepping closer. "You were chosen. That hair you were ashamed of, it runs in our bloodline. The Sweet women were always strong. We grow bold, wild, unapologetically." Maya whispered. "You're saying it's not something to hide?" Vanessa smiled. "It's something to lead with." She handed Maya a tablet. Photos filled the screen. Powerful women in sports gear. Bold. Hair visible. Strength in every frame. At the top, the Sweet Form brand logo. Your mother built this for women who didn't want to fit in. They wanted to stand out. And now, we want you to be the new face of it. Maya blinked back tears. All her life she'd been laughed at, picked apart, made to feel like she was too much, too hairy, too different, too visible. But here was a brand, a family, that saw her as powerful. "I'm the face of a dynasty?" Her mom nodded, voice thick with emotion. "I never told you because I didn't want them to take you. But now I see, they're not taking you. They're restoring you." Later that night, Maya sat by the hospital window, staring out at the city. She opened her camera and looked at her reflection. Same girl, same hair, same body. But this time, She saw something different in her own eyes. Truth, and truth, that was more beautiful than any glow-up. And when the truth came out, the world had no choice but to listen. The same school that once laughed behind her back was about to call her to the front of the stage, because Maya's power wasn't just genetic, it was earned. It's strange how quickly the world changes when people find out who you really are. One day, Maya was the school's favorite punchline. The next, she was headline news. The local news segment aired just 2 days after the championship. The headline? Teen. Soccer star bullied for body hair. Turns out to be heiress to global sports empire. The story went viral within hours. Clips of Maya scoring the winning goal played alongside footage of her walking the halls, bruised and mocked. The news anchor's voice cracked with emotion. What began as a cruel joke turned into a story of resilience, identity, and redemption. By noon, the school board had received over 8,000 emails demanding action. By 3 p.m., their legal team got the call. A defamation lawsuit was being prepared by Maya's aunt, a powerhouse attorney and founder of a billion-dollar athletic brand. The videos mocking Maya? Gone. Scrubbed from every platform with cease and desist orders attached, hashtags that once humiliated her, now flooded with support. Maya's strong glow up naturally. Her body, her legacy. Inside the principal's office, the atmosphere was different now. Gone were the days of shrugged shoulders and hushed meetings. Now came damage control and desperation. They didn't invite Maya to the stage. They begged her. The day of the school assembly arrived. The gym was packed. Students, teachers, and even district officials filled the bleachers. The stage was dressed in school colors, but no one was looking at the decorations. All eyes were on her. Maya stepped up to the podium in the same green jersey she'd worn during the championship, her arms bare, her head high. No script, no slideshow, no filters, just truth. When I was a kid, I thought the worst thing in the world was being different, she began. But I was wrong. The worst thing is being taught that different means broken. Silence. Every student stared. Even Whitney is buried in the back row. You laughed at me. You filmed me. You made me feel like I didn't belong in my own body. But guess what? This body scored the winning goal. This body survived your words. And this body carries the legacy of women stronger than you'll ever understand. Her voice didn't crack once. Then came the moment no one expected. The principal, once dismissive, now pale, stood and approached the microphone. Maya, on behalf of the staff, students, and administration, I owe you a sincere apology. We failed to protect you. We failed to believe in you. And today, I want to say this publicly. He turned to the crowd. Let Maya's story be a reminder. Don't mock what you don't understand. The students were silent for a beat too long. And then, applause. Not just polite claps. Real thunderous applause. Layla stood up first. Then the entire soccer team. Then even a few teachers, the same ones who once looked away when Maya cried in the hall. The power had shifted, not because Maya had demanded it, but because she had earned it. Later that day, the school's official Instagram posted Maya's photo, arms crossed, chin raised. The caption is simple. Strength is not measured by smooth skin or perfect smiles. It's measured by how many times you show up, when the world tells you not to. Whitney never apologized publicly, but she transferred schools before the month was over. And Maya? She didn't need an apology, because forgiveness wasn't about forgetting. It was about freeing herself, but Maya wasn't done. Because her glow-up wasn't just personal, it was about to become global. And soon the same girl once mocked in bathrooms and lunchrooms would become the face of something far bigger than her pain. The ultimate glow. Glow-ups usually come with filters, with edited angles, airbrushed faces, and smooth skin. But Maya's glow-up? It came with truth. And this time, the world didn't scroll past her story. They stopped, they watched, and they listened. 2 weeks after her hospital release, Maya launched something the school didn't expect. Not a viral revenge post, not a call-out, not another tear-filled speech, but a movement, a bold, fearless, unstoppable campaign called The Launch Video Dropped at Midnight. A black screen faded into a photo of Maya, standing on a soccer field, arms exposed, hair visible, sweat on her brow, and fire in her eyes. Her voiceover cut through the silence. They told me to hide my body. They told me to shrink. But this is me, unfiltered, unshaved, undefeated. This is what real strength looks like. The clip racked up 2 million views in 24 hours. Girls from all over the country stitched the video, showing their stretch marks, scars, natural hair, unfiltered beauty. It wasn't about shame anymore. It was about power, but not everyone celebrated. Whitney, now dethroned and desperate, tried to spin her own story. She uploaded a video with a tear-streaked face and perfectly curated lighting. I just want to say I'm sorry if anyone ever felt hurt by my actions. We all make mistakes, and I was hurting too, you know. I didn't mean to bully Maya. I was just insecure about myself. Cue fake crying. Cue dramatic pauses. Cue hashtags. Be kind. Growth. Changed person, but the internet wasn't buying it. Screenshots resurfaced. Messages leaked. DMs from Whitney mocking other girls after Maya's speech, calling them hairy sheep and bandwagon beasts. She didn't just get called out. She got canceled. What are her brand partnership offers? Gone. Her reputation? In flames. Meanwhile, Maya's campaign kept growing. She was invited to speak at women's conferences. She sat on a panel next to Olympic gold medalists and mental health advocates. She even got a personal shout-out from celebrities who once played in the same gym where she had been bullied. But her biggest statement didn't come in a speech. It came in the form of a billboard. Right across the street from the school where students once laughed behind her back stood a giant ad, a life-sized photo of Maya, wearing her green jersey, arms folded, legs scarred and proud, hair visible, eyes locked on the future. No tagline, no apology, just 3 bold words. I am enough. The first morning it went up, students walking to school stopped in their tracks. Some stared, some smiled, some even cried. Whitney? She didn't even show up that day. Later that afternoon, Maya walked into the same girls' bathroom where it had all started. The lighting hadn't changed. The mirror was still chipped. But something else was different now. She stepped in front of it. No tears, no hoodie, no fear. She stared at her reflection, arms relaxed, posture tall, and smiled. This time, she whispered, the mirror didn't lie. I am who I am, and that's enough. Fade to black, then a final scene. Maya on stage. Not at school, but at a national event, holding a microphone. If you ever felt like you had to hide parts of yourself to be accepted, if you ever got mocked for the way you were born, let this be your reminder. She raised her arm with confidence, showing it all. Your glow-up doesn't start when you change who you are. It begins when you finally accept it. And from the back of the room, a girl with thick curls and acne nodded quietly. She rolled up her sleeves and smiled for the first time in weeks, and that was Maya's sweet story. But now it's yours too. Because whether you've been laughed at, judged, excluded, or told you're too much, remember this. Sometimes the very thing that sets you apart is your superpower. You just haven't grown into it yet. If this story touched your heart, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, and turn on that bell so you never miss a story that matters. And drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever been judged for something you couldn't change? What did your glow-up look like? The best comment gets pinned, and maybe even featured in our next episode. Until then, be loud, be proud, be you.